Welcome back to another episode of Jacksonville Buzz's Buzzworthy Business. I'm Steve Strum. This morning we have Bonnie McCormick from Sunshine Nurse. Good morning, young lady.
Good morning.
All right, we were talking offset. I know all about you. What is a Sunshine Nurse?
Well, Sunshine Nurse is the name of my company, but it is a small boutique legal nurse consulting firm.
What in the world is a small boutique nursing consulting firm?
Legal nurse consulting
What do
firm.
you do to consult in legal world of nurses or lawyers?
I help lawyers analyze medical records and put together a report and a chronology to help their personal injury, medical malpractice, and nursing home negligence cases. So I take thousands of pages of medical records, I pick out the important details, and I put it in a logical chronology with a full case analysis showing all of the breaches in care and the deviations in the standard of care.
So when you're working with a client, the client is the attorney. So an
Correct.
attorney comes to you. So I get in a car accident, and
Okay.
I know we were talking a little bit offset. I get in a car accident, and I don't break a bone. That
Right.
doesn't necessarily show up on an X-ray.
Okay.
But yet my arm is stuck in this position.
Right.
This, you said, was nerve damage, right?
Probably.
So may not be able to be X-rayed.
Right.
And I know that that's dramatic. I mean, somebody comes walking in with their
No,
arm
yeah.
twisted up like that. People are like, okay, well, there's obviously a clear deformity.
Right.
But you help the lawyer and their client to articulate what has happened in a series of events that led them to seeking legal counsel.
Correct. So after they seek legal counsel, the attorney will take the case or sometimes not take the case, and part of that decision-making process often is me looking at those medical records and saying, is there a case? So I can usually tell, even if I have 4,000 pages of medical records, within the first 2 or 3 hours of reading through them and organizing them, I can tell whether there are breaches of duty. Because just because somebody has an injury doesn't mean it's somebody else's fault.
Correct. In the finger pointing universe that we're in
Right.
today, and you go down, I guess, down to the palliative care universe, right?
Right.
That if you're in a nursing home, right,
Yes.
and you go to a nursing home because there are, well, issues that require you to have care, then you die in a nursing home, which most of the people that go to a nursing home, they don't come back out. That's kind of the way that their progression of the last remaining years of their life are. But then the family members come in and they're like, oh, well, this individual, it's not our fault that that our family member died, even though they may have had, they might be 95, 350 pounds with
Right.
coronary disease. It's not there. It's always going to be another because we just as a society have gone into much more of a, I hate to say antagonistic universe, but
We're
it's
a
always
litigious
looking
universe.
for the
Yeah.
litigious answers
Yeah.
to the questions. And, going down to something as simple as car accident. So
Right. Well, in the nursing home world, at the end of our lives, we're all going to die.
that is correct.
However,
It's 100% chance.
However, is it your time? And was
That's right.
there a breach in care that caused that damage?
And so you
there
help
has to
that-
there has to be a breach of duty, there has to be causation, and there has to be damages.
So you help identify, was the skilled facility acting in the manner by which they're supposed to?
Were they
if there
upholding
was
the standards of care?
and was there something that went outside of that by which
Correct.
there is the case for the damages?
Correct.
Now, you're an RN by trade.
Yes, I am.
Now, I happen to grow up in the medical environment. My mother was a blood analyst, so
Oh.
the vampire of the hospital. Yes, ma'am. This is true. So, as an RN, right, your
Yes.
job professionally in registered nurse land was
Mm-hmm.
obviously caring for people in a medical setting of some
Yes,
sort.
for many
How
years.
did you get it here? Like, how do you go from I'm an RN to I'm
Right.
a medical consultant for attorneys?
Right. Well, I have 18 years of bedside experience, mostly in pediatrics and NICU, but also doing nursing home consulting. So I have the pediatrics in the NICU, and I have the nursing home. And in the middle of that, I did emergency rooms, so I've also got the trauma. So I had this great clinical background.
Yes, ma'am.
When I decided to get away from the bedside after 18 years, I went into the managed care world, which is large insurance companies. And I worked for a large payer. And so I learned how to pick through medical records and analyze levels of care and match up the billing with what the services that were provided and so forth. So I became a medical records expert. And then I also, after I got kind of bored with that, I did sales and marketing for 5 years for a major university. I was kind of a brand ambassador for their College of Nursing.
Very good.
So about 5 years ago, some lawyers found me on LinkedIn. They were in Chicago. I don't know how they found me, but they saw that I had NICU, NICU experience, and managed care experience, and they had a huge lawsuit. They were representing the insurance company. There was a hospital system suing the insurance company for incorrect billing. So they hired me to go through tens of thousands of pages of records and match up what should have been billed and what should not have been billed. And it was very successful. And it was a whole year-long project. And at the end of it, I thought, wow, this was kind of fun. You know, I married all of my worlds of clinical
Sure.
and managed care. And I thought, well, why don't I take that sales and marketing background and put all three of those together and open my own company.
And create a Bonnie brand.
Create Sunshine Nurse.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's really neat. So you had all the clinical stuff.
I do.
Then you actually, and I hate to say the accounting stuff, but
Yeah.
the accounting
Yeah.
stuff,
The nitpicky
medical
stuff.
records
Medical records.
stuff, right?
Yes.
And then this brand ambassadorship, and you took those three elements that independently are fantastic career opportunities and created a business that allows you to have your business, but then help serving other people consistent with the moral code by which you have had
Correct.
your professional career.
Correct. I'm a patient advocate.
That is amazing.
So, you know, if somebody has their grandmother who was mistreated in a nursing home, I can look at those records and see, did they document that they did the right things at the right time? You know, did they give her medications appropriately? Did they turn and reposition her? Does she have pressure sores? Did she fall? You know, what happened to her? I can take those records, build the story from the facts into a chronology so that you can see what happened first, second, third, and fourth, and then I can analyze the whole thing, showing the deviations in the standards of care and who's at fault.
And translate that to English for a court of law.
Translate that into a report that's very easily understood and able to be explained to a jury.
That's fabulous. So I could just go, it's a fascinating evolution of a business that's like, you know what, that's right, absolutely.
Yeah.
If people want to find out more about you or connect with you or understand, you know, how you might be able to help them, what's the best way to connect?
I would say go to my website, which is www.sunshinenurse.com.
And what we'll do is we'll make sure to hang your website on iwannabuzz.com so people seeing this video, they can kind of click through
Sure.
the stuff. Thank you for coming and spending a little bit of time talking
Sure.
about your business. It's fascinating to hear the necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily that necessity was your invention, but you needed to have that invention for you to have this phase of your career, which is just fabulous. And you're helping people consistent with your educational background. It's
Yes.
amazing.
That's right.
Guys, thanks for joining us today on I Want a Buzzworthy Business. If you like us, share us. Remember, live with gratitude.